if I divide into 2, it may not be necessarily b equal. I'll just look at this. So I can still divide this triangle like this, and I'm saying that it's not necessarily that this is equal to this. That's not the case. So I can have this triangle the way it is here. I have that. Then we have this height. I can call this one to be height, or I can call it, let me just call it x. So we have the height there. And you're going to see how we can find the height in very many other ways. So if I'm going to look at this triangle where I have A, this angle A, I have this A, I have C, and also I have this B here. Maybe I can call this one to be P. Yeah, so we're having that. Then I want to see how I can get the height. Just look at this. I want to get this height. So if I consider this triangle the way it is, triangle now I'm considering triangle ABP. If I'm to use triangle ABP, it means that this one here will be my angle B. So this is going to be angle B. And again, this will be my adjacent, as you have been seeing before. This is my opposite, and this will be my hypotenuse. Yeah, so I'll be having that. Now what I want to get is the opposite. I want to get the opposite, which I'm calling x here. So we are going to use, you go back and use the soccer tower. We are using our soccer tower as we have been doing in the previous concepts and previous numbers. So if you're using soccer tower, if I want to get the opposite, and I have the hypotenuse here. So I have the hypotenuse, and I want to get the opposite. So it means that I'm going to use the sine. I also have the angle B. So it means that when I use my sine of angle B, which is here, I'm going to have sine B will be equal to opposite, which I'm looking for, and I can say it's x, out of the hypotenuse, which is C. So I'll be having that. So it means that sine B will be equal to x out of C. And if I want to get x, I'll just say that x will be the same thing as having C, then sine P. So that will be my x. So my x will be C sine B. That's what I'll be having. So we are going to we are trying to derive we are deriving the sine. We are going to use it to work out unknowns in a given triangle. So this is very true. So I get my x is the same as C sine B. But again, I'm just doing this triangle just to get the other triangle where I can have 90 degrees. So this is very true. I've got that. Then still I can use something else. See how I'm going to do this. I can use something else. I can still come here, and now you see this one has been A. I can still draw. Instead of using x as this, I can still use this side. I can still use this side where I'm having C. So I'm going to take the almost the same triangle, but for this case, I'm leaving this first one. I'm using now the second triangle. In here, getting this, I was using triangle. I was using this triangle, which was ABP. So this one we have used triangle ABP. We have come up with this. Now I'm going to use the different triangle. I want to use APC. So I'm going to use triangle APC. This is I want to get the value of x. I want to get x in terms of sine. So we are using now triangle APC. So from triangle APC, if I use triangle APC, now this one means triangle APC, I'll be having my sine C, this case still to be equal to opposite, which is x, out of the hypotenuse, which will be B. So it means that still x can be equal to B, then sine can be equal to B of sine, because I'm going to have sine C. So that is also very true when I use this second triangle. That's very true. Then the other thing that I can do, since this is x, even the other one is x, I can equate them. I can equate these two, as you're going to see. Since this is x, and they're equal, x and x, I can say that C, this is small c, remember, C sine of B will be equal to B, then sine of C. And I can divide, I'm going to divide this side by sine C. So I want to have those ones having C on one side, also having B on the other side. So I'm going to divide by sine C on both sides, and also sine B. So I'm going to divide by sine B sine C on both sides. So now I divide this side by sine C, means I'll be coming up with something like this. C out of sine C. This will be equal to B out of sine B. So we are dividing, I want to have those ones, small b and sine b, or small b and the length and the angle on one side, even c and the angle capital C on one side. That's why I'm dividing. If I divide here by sine C will come this side because here it will cancel out. Again, if I divide here by sine B will come this side because it will cancel out here. So that is very true. And this is almost the sine rule. So we also want to get one which is having A and sine A, and this is how I'm going to get it. Now let us come back to this triangle. I've been dividing it in this way, but again I can divide it in a different way. I can divide this in a different way, that if this has been like this, now I want to involve also angle A, then I can do it in a different way. I can still divide it in this way. I can draw perpendicular now, which is going to be like this. Moving from C, I can draw it like this now. So I'll be having, I want to also engage this one, which is going to be our A. So I'll be having this angle A, and there are many ways of doing that. I want to also have A being involved. So it means that if I have A, this still can be, I can still draw it like this, like that. So it means that if I have this one, I'm still going to have two triangles. I'm going to have two triangles, like how you are seeing here. I can still have this as X. So when I have this, I can consider this first triangle. When I look at this triangle, which will be AC, just take S, maybe this is now 2. So just want to derive it, triangle AC2. If I look at this triangle, still I want to get the height in terms of sine. So in this case, I'll be having the angle here, which is angle A. So that means that I'll be having my sine A, this will be equal to opposite, which is X out of B. So it means that my X will be equal to sine A, will be equal to B sine A, like that. Now, still I can use this other triangle, that very fast. You can still use this, and this triangle will be, so if I use triangle which is B now, it is BC, BC2. If I use this one, then it means that my sine of, this one is having B, I'll be having sine B will be equal to opposite to BX out of A. Then this will give me X equals to A sine B. That's what I'll be having. But still, these two we are having X and X, we are going to equate them like what we have done for the previous one. I'm just going to equate them. So when I equate them, I'll get something like this. I'll be having B sine of A will be equal to A sine of B. Now see what I'm going to do. I want to have the A's on one side and the B's on the other side. So I can divide by sine B, also by sine A, like what we have done in the previous number or the previous proof that we have been having. So I can divide by sine B. So end up having B out of sine B will be equal to A. This is B out of sine A. So you just have to divide by sine A, sine B on both sides. Now that's what you are going to have. Now after getting this, if you compare with the previous one, so it means that if somebody is having B sine B is the same as, is going to be equal to A sine A, is going to be the same as C sine C. Now we come up with the sine rule, and what you need to know here is the sine rule, because they might ask you to derive it, but again you're going to be required to use it. So you come up with this. So it implies that A out of sine A, this will be equal to B out of sine B, and this will be equal to C out of sine C. Now this is what we need, and you call this one the sine rule. This is the sine rule. Now it depends on what you want to use or what the question is interested in. Now you can use any. For example, I can take these two, I can just say A out of sine A. Maybe this equals to B out of sine B, like how we have seen. Also, I can say A, so I can just take whatever I want, depending on the question, as we are going to see some examples. I can still say A sine A will be equal to C out of sine C. I can still say C, A sine, this is C sine C will be equal to B out of sine B. So you can equate to whatever you want. we're just going to deal with 2, 2, 2, 2. That's what the question is going to be requiring us to do. So I can say A out of sine A equals to B out of sine B. A out of sine A equals to C out of sine C. C out of sine C equals to B out of sine. So that's what we are going to be dealing with. So you can equate whatever. Any 2, remember the side has to be up, then the angle is down. The sine of the angle is down. So we are going to do examples, but this is how we are going to use the sine. You just have to equate 2 of them. You have different sides, but then the side has to correspond to the sine of the angle, which is the denominator. So from this, we are going to do some few examples together, and also have questions that I want you to try out, and the sine rule will be done. Then next time we can move on and do the cosine rule. So let us work out some examples here. Let us work out some good examples. And again, we have very many ways of deriving the sine rule, but I thought of this, and I know it's somehow easy. It is easy for you. But when you guys see, we have very many ways of deriving this. For example, in A level, I'll be using a different alternative, but still, they will ask you to derive, but it's good to see where it comes from. What you need most is how to use it. Let us look at examples here. Let us look at some examples. So we have questions there. We're going to try them, but I want us first look at this. Saying find the unknowns in the triangle below. So we are going to try this one together, but again I have other questions that we are supposed to do, and also some of them I'll leave them for you to do. So we have this one. They're saying find the unknowns in the triangle below. So we're having this triangle. You're having this. So you have this is A, and you have this is B, then this is our C. That's what we have. So even if you don't have that, but you have the angle here. Let's say this is maybe 80 degrees. This is 80 degrees. And I can have here X. And this is 2.5 centimeters. I have that 2.5 centimeters. So we need to find this angle X that you're having here. And I'm having here 4.1 centimeters. That's what we have. Then here we have X, here we are having Y, like that. And again here we have Z. Yeah, so we need to find that. Now sometimes just say solve the triangle. They will give you some few things like maybe the angle and one side. They ask you to solve the triangle. That means that we ask you to solve the triangle, you need to find everything, every side, the length of every side, and all the angles. So we are going to apply now to the sine rule. Now in this case, we are looking at the example here. They are giving us, that's our triangle, and they are telling us to find the unknowns. So we have 80 degrees here, X, Y, 4.1, 2.5, so we have Z. It means that what our task is to find the values of X, Y, and Z. That's what you are going to do. Now if you are to work out this, find that for this triangle you can't use the sine, you can't use the soccer tower. Simply because this is not a right angle triangle, so you can't use the soccer tower. Now in this case, we have to go for the sine rule. We're also going to look at the cosine very soon. So you can't use soccer tower here. Now this is why we must have the sine rule. So look at this angle is corresponding to this side. So it means that if this is A, then this will be my side A. So if I take this one to be B, then this will be the corresponding side B. So you have to be very careful as you are labeling them, because most of us, you want to make a mistake there, then you can't pass the number. If this is C, then this will be the corresponding side, small c. Now what you are going to do is that even sometimes I was telling you that be careful with the units, because I can give you centimeters here, I give you meters, and the signs, you have to change them, that the signs are the same. Now let us work out this, and so these are simple numbers. I want you to be able to do them after this. Like the way you are saying trigonometry now is very easy. Still this sine, cosine rule, they have to be also easy. Because most of you told me that angles of deviations, elevations were hard, but after covering those things, now you are saying they're easy. So these things, they are not hard, the sine and the cosine, as you are going to see. Now you look at what we have. If I have this A angle, I also have the side which is corresponding to it, which is 2.5. It means that I can use these two. Because for A, I have the angle, I also have this. Then if B, look at B, I don't have the angle, but I have this side. So I can use these two. I can use for A and B, and I get this angle B. After getting angle B, then for C it becomes very easy. But again, don't forget that it's a triangle. The angles in a triangle add up to 180. You can also use that as an alternative in one way or the other. Now, look at this. So I'm going to use this, that from a sine we have seen that if you have A out of sine A, it's the same thing as having B out of sine B. Now, in this case, if you look at the triangle, my A is 2.5 centimeters and my angle A is 80. So I'll be having 2.5 out of sine of 80 degrees. This will be equal to my B, which is 4.1 out of sine B. Now, I don't have this angle B. In this case, the angle is given as x, so I can even say sine x. So that's what we have. And if you're having only x as the unknown, you can get the x. So we can cross multiply here. If you want, can cross multiply. It's very fine. Or still, you can first get the answer here. There are many ways of doing it. Now, here is only algebra. Sine rule is done. What comes after this is only to play around with algebra. So you can do whatever you want. I can cross multiply. When I cross multiply, I'll be having 2.5 sine x. This will be equal to 4.1 sine 80. Remember what we said, that this number in front can't multiply the angle. You first get sine 80, then you multiply it by 4.1. The same applies to this. 2.5 can't multiply the x, so you first have to get, if I divide by 2.5, then x will get, we're going to get the x as an angle and it will be the sine inverse. So I can still divide by 2.5, that I have only sine x here. So I'll be having 4.1, then sine of 80 degrees, then divide by 2.5. So this one you can use your calculator. Please don't use the head here because you can't get sine 80. So we can first multiply 4.1, then multiply it by sine 80. But again, don't forget your calculator has to be in degrees. If it's in radians, you want to get the right answer. So we are getting sine x. If I work out everything there, I'm getting my sine x as 1.6151. That's what I get. Now I need to get x, so that means I have to get the sine inverse. We covered this one at the start, so I have to get the sine inverse of this. So my x will be equal to the sine inverse of 1.6151. Sine inverse, you have to press the shift, then sine, then you press that value. If you have in the small calculators, then second function, sine, that will be the sine inverse. So when you get the sine inverse of that, since we have been having 4.1, then sine, the other one was sine 80, and you are dividing it by 2.5, then you are saying that you get the sine inverse of this one. And now, this is how you're going to get the angle. If you get sine inverse of this, it will give us the value of x. We're still going to work out very many other numbers. Let's could have just got this one from the head. Now, the x will be a sine inverse, so this will be the angle. And after getting the angle, what happens is that we are going to come back here. Just guide you on this. You're going to get other angles by saying 80 plus y plus x. So if I have x and 80, I can add and equate to 180, I get y. And after having the y, then I can get all the others. I can get z, I can get even the z. That's how I'm going to do this. And I'm saying we're going to try more numbers. I'm saying that this one, because it's more than one, I think cover that. That's why we're going to get to math error here. You're going to try more numbers, and it will make everything to be so nice. Now let us look at the questions that I have prepared for you. Now you need to be careful of these questions I'm going to do. You have those questions there. We are going to try them out, so please copy them down because we don't have a lot of time. You can still copy those questions down. Just copy the questions down. Also, you can you can use your phone, capture the questions. So we have number 1, we have 2, and number 3. There are only 3 numbers. So I'm going to work out only a few, then other numbers they will be yours to try out. Now if you look at number 1, they are saying the triangle. In a triangle PQR, we have R is 5.75. And the sizes of angles P and Q are 30 degrees and 65 respectively. They're saying calculate the length of P, R, and you are given the answer there. So if you look at this one, you can still first do a triangle. analyze the question, please, we can draw our triangle carefully. Now, if you look at this triangle, it's the same triangle P, Q, and R. Yeah, so always first draw a triangle to come out. And they're giving us angle P as angle P. They're giving it to us as 42 degrees. So you put here 42 degrees. Then angle Q also is given as 65 degrees, like that. Then also we have R. Now R corresponds to this capital R. That means R will be this one, which is 5.75 centimeters, like that. That's what you have. Now they're asking us to find the length of PR. That means that they want this one here. This is what they want. PR is this one. The length of PR, this one, from here up here. That means that this is the same as small q. If this one is small p, this is the small r. Now you look at what is going to help us to get this, because we want to get this PR, which is q. So look at what we have completely is that if you are to get q, we have to use this angle. Because now that if I have q, small q out of sine capital Q, this will be equal to anything else, ever p. But since I don't have the q, it means that this q we don't have, we're looking for the q. If I don't have q, which is now the same as PR, it means that I have to use any side where at least I have everything. I should have the length, also I should have the angle. And look at the side that we have only here is this r. We have r, that means I'm going to use r, but I don't have the angle r, you're going to get this angle r. So if you look at this one, it's going to be, I'm going to use r out of sine r. Well, I'm saying we don't have the angle, but we know that angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees, so we're going to use that idea here. So I'm going to add, you add 42 degrees plus 65, then plus angle r, I'll be getting 180. So that's what I'm going to use. When I have, so it means that if I'm going to get the angle of r, I'll be having 180 degrees minus the sum of 65 plus 42 degrees. So I'm going to use that to get angle r, because you can't do it without, when you're having two unknowns, the angle, even q. So you must add the two, you get what you get, and after you subtract the sum from 180, and this will give me 73. Now it means that angle r will be 73 degrees. So we are using that all angles in the triangle and up to 180 with their supplementary. So after getting that, then everything becomes easy. I'm looking for q, so I'll be having q there out of sine q, which is now sine of 65 degrees. This will be equal to r, which I have as 5.7. Then divide by sine of 73 degrees. So I'll just multiply by sine 65 on both sides. So I get q, multiply this one on both sides. So I'll be getting my q. My q will be the same as 5.75 out of sine 73 degrees, then times sine of 65 degrees. This will give me my q. So just press on the calculator, you press 5.75. Remember the calculator has to be in radians, as I've told you. Then this will be divided by sine of 73. After that, you multiply it by sine of 65. So you get the answer as 5.4. So give us 5.4449, which is almost the same thing as 5.45. So I'll get 5.449. Don't forget the centimeters. So it means that our PR will be equal to 5.449 centimeters. So that becomes the answer there. But I'm saying it's the same thing as having 5.45. So this is how we do it. You just need to know the sign that is going to work between two. And again, at angles add up to 180, then you can get anything. Even if you ask me to get this 2r, I can get. Now using 2r, I'm going to use, I have to use sine p. So I'll use p out of sine p equals 2. Now I have everything. I have r, I also have 2, I can use any. So I can just, if I want to get the small p here, just get, which is 2r, I can get p out of sine p will be equal to 2 out of sine q. Also, I can say it will be equal to r out of sine r. So the answer will be the same, whatever two that you are going to take. So that is our first number there in the questions that we have. So you see the answer is true because you also have answers 5.45. Let's go back to those questions and see. Look at, we also have number 2. Now number 2 we are telling us to solve the triangle ABC with sides A, B, and C. If part A we have that A is 12 meters, B is that. Now part A, it's asking us to solve, means that it's asking you to solve, you have to get everything that is missing, get all the sides, and still get all the angles. So part A, I'm going to leave it. You can work out part A, part B. I also believe you can do it. But look at part C. I want to talk about part C. Now, if you look at part C, is that we are having B equals 17.6 meters. We're looking at part C. I said that part A and B we can be able to do it, but part C we have our B 7.6 meters, and also we are having our C. In this case, C is the angle because it is capital, and this is 48 degrees. You are seeing that, and so we have 15 and 15 minutes. We are going to talk about this. And so we are having small c. This is the small c now. Because so this one is okay. Only I'm going to explain something very small. This is 15.3 meters. Asking us to solve this. That means that they want us to get angle B. What they want here is to get angle B. Also want us to get angle A. Angle A. Then also we have to get side A. Other things that we need to get. Angle B, angle A, and side A. And I've given us B 17.6 meters. This C, angle C is 48 degrees, then 15 minutes. Now when you look at this one here, we're going to talk about this. Then C is 15.3 meters. You know, it's not common, but still you can find some people setting this for you, and you have to learn how to deal with it. Now when you look at this one here, when you find that we have something, maybe you have like 2, something like that, this means 2 minutes. And you find that maybe I'm having, because this is 2 degrees, this is 2 minutes, then this, if you have something like this, these are seconds. Now what we need to know is how to convert, because you cannot use this angle the way it is. You have to know how to convert from minutes to degrees. And you know that if you have 60 minutes, they equal to, you have to first convert that angle C. 60 minutes equal to 1 degree. This is what you're supposed to use. 60 minutes, they give us the equivalent to 1 degree. But for this case, we're having 48 degrees and 15 minutes. So it means that 48 degrees, I'm going to leave them. So I'm just going to convert these 15 minutes to degrees. After that, then I add them to 48 degrees, I work out everything. So I'm having now 15 minutes. And I can say this will be equal to x or anything else. This will be equal to x, or let me just call it y. Now I want to convert this to degrees. So you cross multiply, I'll be getting y times 60 minutes. This will give me to 15 times 1. Then you can leave the signs here. So I have to divide by 60. So my y is going to be equal to 15 divided by 60. So what you need to know is only this, that 60 minutes, they are going to be equivalent to 1 degree. Only that, then you can do everything else that you want to do. So you have to divide 15 divided by 60, you get 0.25. So I'll be getting my y as 0.25 degrees. So it means that this angle C was supposed to be, my angle C now is going to be equal to 45, because it was 48 degrees and 15 minutes. So this will be equal to now 48 degrees plus 0.25 degrees. So I'll end up getting my angle C as 48.25 degrees. That's my angle C. Now again, if I have angle C, other things are going to be very easy. Actually, I pressed this number there because I wanted you to understand only this, that 60 minutes, they're going to give you 1 degree. And now if there are seconds, this will be 2 of them, and it will be 5,600. But in this case, you have minutes. So 60, they're going to give you 1 degree. That's what I wanted you to understand. Only this, 60 minutes, they are going to be equal to 1 degree. There's still this one means minutes. Because I've seen some papers and some people are saying maybe there is a mistake. No, it's not a mistake. You find something like this these are minutes, and 60 are going to be equal to 1 degree. Now, after getting this, we can do the number. Let me just do it for you, and I believe the other numbers you can do them. Yeah, so only this one is required, then other numbers are very okay. We can be able to do them. Yeah, let us just complete this. So we go back and draw a triangle very first. This is what we have. Remember, the angle has to correspond with the side. If angle A, it corresponds to side A, which is given there. So we have our angle C, which I've just got. So if this is maybe A, and you can label, you can put anywhere. There's nothing that this is supposed to be A forever. This is C and so on. So this is angle A. This will be now side A. This will angle C. This will be side C. B. This will be like that. And I'm having this one at 17.6 meters. This is angle C. We have got now in degrees for 2.25 degrees. What else do we have? That's what we have. And so we have side C, which is 15.3 meters. That's what we have. Now we're just going to use, we can find this angle B. See, we have side B. We can also get angle B using this and this. So I can say that say out of sine C, this will be equal to B out of sine B. Then now this side C, we have 15.3. Then divide by sine C, it's going to be sine of 48.25 degrees. And this will be equal to B, which is 17.6 out of sine B, like that. Now what we are going to do is that these ones we can get them, multiply, so we can cross multiply. There are many ways of getting. So you can first get this, then you cross multiply. Or you can cross multiply the way it is. And I believe the easiest way is first cross multiplying before we move on. So when I cross multiply, I'll be getting 15.3 sine B, and this will be equal to 17.6 sine of 48.25 degrees. That's what we have. So I can divide. I get my sine B will be equal to 17.6 sine 48.25. Then divide by 15.3. So when you work out this on a calculator, you'll be getting your sine. You have sine of 48. So please use the calculator there. Times 17.6. Yes, then we divide by 15.3. So I'll be getting my sine B. The number just had a problem because it was above 1. You know, as sine always has to be below 1. Maximum is 1. So we have this one here, 0.8582, and I get the sine inverse to get B, sine inverse of that, of 0.8582. You have to use the shift sign, and this will give us 59. So B is going to be equal to 59.12 degrees. When you round off, you get 59.12 degrees, 59.1. Now, after getting this one, we can get the other angles, because we want to solve the triangle. We have to get all the missing sides. So we have angle B we have got, angle C we have, so we need to get angle A. Now, angle A depends on what you want to use. If you want, you can still use the sine rule. It's very fine. But still here, since you don't have this side A, that means you can first add angle B plus angle C plus angle A. I get 180. So I can use that concept. So when I have here, this is angle B is that. So I know when I add A, angle A plus angle B plus angle C, since this is a triangle, I have to get 180 degrees. So and that means that my angle A here is going to be equal to 180 minus the sum of these two, and this will be 48.25 plus 59.12 degrees. So just add this, and I subtract them from 180. So 59.12 plus 48.25, then 180 minus that. So I'll get my answer of angle A at 72.6. And if you're using two decimal places here, use two decimal places throughout. If you choose to use 1, use 1, but don't use 2. Somewhere else you use 1. That's not true. because you'll be adding and it won't give you 180. So you're going to have that. So that's my angle A. Now again, they're asking me, so I need to solve also for this small a. I think that's all. So we solve for small a, then our triangle will be done, because for B and C we have. So for solving for small a, I have to use now the sine rule involving A. So I can say A out of sine A. This will be equal. Any, you can use any of your choice, either C or B, you get the same answers. So my A, that's what I'm looking for. Then my sine A, sine of 72.63 degrees, this will be equal to my B, which is 17.6, divided by my sine B, which is sine of 59.12 degrees. So I just have to get this. You can cross multiply, you can first get this, then multiply, just use that, 17.6 out of sine 59. Then this one times sine of 72. Now simple of course here, sine and sine, that's not true. Just multiply and get the answer. Press on the calculator and get your answer. So you're having 17.6 divided by sine of 59.12, then times sine of 72.6. So you get our answer as 19.57. And you have to put the units there. If there are centimeters, put centimeters. There are meters. In this case, we add meters. You put meters. So that is the answer. And you have solved the triangle. What they wanted is A, B, C, and the angles, the corresponding angles so are required. And that's what we have done. That's what we have done. Now, if you look at this one, it means that we have understood how to apply the sine rule. That's all that we are going to do. We just need to have two sides. And then maybe also you need to have one angle and you're looking for the other angle. Now when you go back and look at those questions, there's some number I've left there and I want you to do it. Look at those questions there. There's the last number 3, I want you to work it out. But again, be very careful. Like number 3, that if you look at it, be very careful in that number they're giving us triangle XYZ. Angle Z is 100 degrees, Y is 4 centimeters. Now Z, they're giving us 0.05 meters. If you look at the units, we're having centimeters and meters. So you have to be very careful, change the units, so that if you're using centimeters, use centimeters. If you're using meters, use meters. You get the same answers. So be very careful with that. And for number 2, please do part A and also do part B. Then number 1 we have covered together. And also be very careful that thing of minutes. It's not so common, but when they bring it, very many students don't pass that. When they bring that thing of minutes, and sometimes we leave it out, but we need to know how to deal with it, because even in higher levels you will find it, so it's good to understand it here in O level. When you continue still maybe A level, university, it will be okay with you. So make sure also you understand it clearly. So that is all about the sine rule, and I know we don't have a lot of time, there's something going on, but next time when we come back, we are going to look at, we have the cosine rule. Also, we have the area of the triangle. So we are going to look at those two, area of the triangle and also the cosine rule. So I'm going to try to communicate with the professor if you still have some few minutes. But for the area, I believe that already I know something about the area half base times height. So we are going to build on that, then we get other things. So I want to thank you very much. Your time is over today. I know you have used a little time, but still there's something going on. But thank you very much for following and for your feedback. So please complete those numbers, and next time we are going to look at the area and the cosine rule, then we finish. And our next topic will be vectors. Good day and nice weekend.
Somera Muddiiro lyo ng'ewagiddwa Maryland High School erisangibwa Entebbe. Ssomero ly'abawala n'abalenzi tusomesa arts ne sciences okuviira ddala ku siniya esooka okutuukira ddala ku siniya ey'omukaaga nga lisangibwa mu kifo ekiweweevu obulungi. Tulina ebisuula eby'omulembe, science laboratory,